Don't wait till the battle's over. Don't wait till the struggle ends. Shout now, shout now, right now. Shout now, shout now. Don't wait till you make it.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the PHILLIP Show. I'm so glad you are here. Grab your coffee. Let me get mine. Okay. All right, so hope everybody is doing well. I say this every single show, and I mean it every single show. I am super excited for today because we have some talent in the building. So if you watched this before, not this particular episode, but we have a guest that is coming back after some incredible things that she has done. And you're going to get to see her again and meet some new amazing people as well. All right, so she's back. Jiana Hunter is back to the show, and she has brought an amazing special guest, a musical guest. Jiana, just so I can catch you guys up, she is a vocalist, producer, and songwriter with a voice and technique that spans all genres. She's heavily influenced by jazz and gospel. This songstress continues to reach the masses through the airwaves as well as in the classroom, where she is also an educator. With her newest tune, Grateful, which you heard the last time she was here, Jiana moves forward with a message of life, hope, and a sound to match. Now, today, she brought a guest. Now, hold on to your seats. A musician and a producer. His name is, hold on one second. Let me get over here real quick. Let me include y'all. I'm going to do an edit, though. Is it Darrell or Darrell?
Darrell.
See, I was about to jack it up.
All right. And that happens all the time, and I just would have said it later.
Okay, so it's Darrell.
Yep.
Okay. All right, let me do that again. Wind it back. Production, wind it back. Okay, that's 5, 4, 3, 2, boom. And today, she brought a guest, a musician and producer, and his name is Darrell "Red" Campbell. Now, after graduating from Detroit's Cass Technical High School, he bypassed the traditional collegiate education to try his hand in the traveling workforce as a touring keyboardist. Naturally, by the age of 21, he had seen and learned more things than most people learn in a lifetime. And at the age of 35, Red traveled through most of the United States and now lends his hand at creating opportunities for younger individuals, the youth, to have the advantages and the opportunities that he has been blessed to have. He says, the thing we enjoy are given to us by God. The things that we enjoy are given to us by God to eventually become what we use to mark our fingerprint in life. True words have never been spoken, because now his fingerprint has been placed on some music icons and franchises such as Arie, Stevie Wonder, Anita Baker, Freyda, MTV, VH1, and more. And each day he continues to strive to positively impact more lives. Currently, among other things, he is also the musician production assistant at Sick Notes, director of creative jazz ensemble at the Detroit Symphony Orchestra, and minister of music at El Bethel Church. So listen, that's a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm not going to keep bragging about this man. We're going to just jump right in, and we're just going to get to it. Jiana, Red, hello.
Hey, Phillip.
Hey, man, I sound pretty interesting. I sound cool.
Don't you though? I'm gonna have to get a cyber autograph or something.
Me too.
So right now, where are you? You guys are both. It looks like you're in the studio. Where are you?
Yep, in the studio in Detroit. My studio here, where we did most of the album, right?
Yeah.
Most of the stuff here. Yep.
Okay, so you did most of Gianna's album.
Mm-hmm. I sure did. Yep.
Oh, wow. So let me put a pin in that. And Red, I want to talk to you a little bit about your background and then work through a little bit of what you've been doing. And then we're going to talk about how you guys became the collaborators on this new project. Does that sound all right?
Cool. Perfect. Yeah.
All right. So I was listening to some of your music on your SoundCloud, on your website. I love your website, by the way. So in the public domain, it's very diverse. And how did you develop such a wide musical style and range?
You know, it actually comes kind of natural because of like just growing up in the city. Detroit is already makes you just like ready for all kinds of stuff. Okay. So just that in itself. And then I became classically trained in high school. And so like being a black kid in the hood who's classically trained, that's already a mix up.
Right.
Like my dad plays top 40 stuff, and then we're still in church, and so it's like we got church, we got top 40, we got classical stuff, and then it's like now I'm doing jazz. It's like all these things just came together just kind of naturally, and I just like what I like, and so I like what I like, and then I like to create what doesn't exist. So you know, I just fill in the holes.
Yeah.
So.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's go. Wait, hold on. As a musician myself, I'm gonna have to pause.
That was so good.
So when you say that, because that's a process, and that is something. Originality is something in music, and Jiana, I'm sure you can attest to this, being so heavily influenced by jazz. Originality. There's only so many chords. There's only so many beats. There's only so many ways to put things together, and we're always influenced by the things that we hear. Tell me, how do you create something that has never been created before? What do you mean?
Okay, so you know what you like already.
Okay.
And there's that little voice in you that's like, "Ooh, I wish this would have did that.
Gotcha.
I wish this would have been 10 seconds longer." And so I literally just create that. And I mean, even from the beginning of like creating a song, I like to create the moment. It's like, what do I want to happen when I play this or that? And so I create the moment, and then I just make the music match.
Wow. So speaking, I know that was good. You need to put that on a postcard or something. I create the moment and let the music match.
Yeah. I had a friend that was like, we make music and then we choreograph to it. Like he just dances to it. Like that's it. Like
that's wonderful.
You figure out what it is that you want to hear, and then you dance to it. And you know, when you start dancing to it, you know you're done. So exactly.
So so you're a producer. Do you also sing or rap? Do you do anything vocally?
Nope, not at all. No.
Hold on, Gianna's over there laughing. She's like,
too happy for records nowadays. Like I've tried, and I'm like, even to be a hype man in the back, like I just sound happy, and nobody really wants to hear that. So it's like, yeah, I'll write it and have everybody else do it. But I do play. I play instruments. I play just about anything you don't blow. That's the easy way to describe it. The keys, bass, drums, violin, string stuff. I play those things.
Okay. And Jiana, for you as a musician and someone pursuing the completion clearly of your project that we're going to talk about in a minute, how do you determine, because I know you have the opportunity to work with a lot of people just because of your talent and your circles and people that are around you that come in contact with you because of your gift, but how do you determine which producer matches the vision for your project?
That's just a mouthful. And let me try to simplify it. I've always prayed about having the right team with me and not just finding someone who has great credentials who can create a sound. I was always looking for someone that could create the sound for me that glorifies God with any genre that I'm integrating. So someone that was spiritual, someone that was very creative, someone that's patient, someone that is not afraid to not only assist me, but lead me, because I am a female leader, and I needed somebody that was not intimidated by what I bring, but can see what I can do and then push me forward. And is a quick thinker, a creator who hears things that I don't hear, inspires me, respects me. I don't want to be with a producer that's Googling after me and having ulterior motives, because as a woman in the industry, it can be very hard for you to move forward with just natural intentions, because sometimes women can have a motive to get forward by using their natural assets.
Things that are not musical.
Right. And then sometimes men can stifle what can be a beautiful process because a woman will not give of her beautiful assets. So I've always felt safe with Red. I've felt safe with people that I prayed about being put in my life. And all these guys are like that. They're like my brothers, and they work well together. I also love people that I don't have to direct, that I could just sit back and watch and listen and learn from. And the first time I had an opportunity to hear Red, and I don't know if I'm going too far in your question, but as I was asking around for people that had certain ingredients, they were more surface. I didn't get it to the depth. You know, some things you got to keep in your heart and let God reveal. But the two things that I asked for was someone that was able to read music, had a classical background, but also was very authentic where they could work by rote. If we're going to use technical terms, you hear it and you can play it and things are very organic. Having a Christian background was very important to me. Not that you just play gospel, but you live it. And so you understand that your spirit is connected to what you play. And so being able to play songs with someone who has a happy spirit, like you said, I embrace all of that because I want that to show off in the music as well, because that's what we want to give to the people. We want enjoyable, happy moments that encourage them, not only with the word, but that the music is just banging.
Right.
Like, whoa, that
Right.
is sweet. I haven't heard that before. And it just comes together like a beautiful ingredient, a beautiful cake.
Yeah, with all the ingredients there, it makes the perfect product. And you, and that kind of goes back to what you were saying. You were talking about doing something that's never been done. And Jiana, you mentioned, you know, the temperament, if you will, of the producer. Like you were using some characteristics of Red. He's happy. He's this and this. That also helps, regardless of the musicality. You were saying it permeates throughout the song. It's the whole piece. It's not just lyric. It's not just music. It's the spirit of the song.
Yes.
Yeah. So Red, for you, kind of the same question, but when you start working with an artist, or you decide to work with an artist, because I know a lot of producers do it for the check. Like, hey, I have an artist, and you know, how much do you charge to do a track? And nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you decide to put your passion, let's use that word, put your passion behind a project, what is it that you're looking for to say, you know what, I really believe that I am a good component for this cake, if you will. I'm a good ingredient for the cake that we're trying to bake.
Yeah, for me, it's purpose. Purpose is the big thing. It's like, what are you trying to do with this? And I think that's literally one of my first questions is, okay, what are we about to do? And then what do you want to do with it? Again, because we want to see from the end to the beginning. It's like, okay, were we successful in doing that? Because we know what the purpose was in the first place. And so artists who have a deep-rooted purpose, I feel like I'm a good asset to them because I like to fulfill that more than just writing the song or just playing the part, because anybody can play the part. I mean, there are kids now who outplay me. Like, you know, I have students who outplay me now, and it's like, okay, cool. Let's not connect this to a purpose that's bigger than the song and bigger than the part and bigger than the rehearsal, because those things will drive you when, you know, everything else fails. It's the purpose.
That's amazing. And I love that, because that's in every sort of field that we can go into. And if we keep purpose in mind, then it seems like intentions will follow. It seems like goodness and mercy shall follow me. You know, it seems like all these things will just follow because you're following in your path, not a contrived one that you're doing for another motive. Okay, so let's talk about, Jiana, let's talk about your project. I know that we world premiered the snippet of Grateful last time. Tell me and tell the people about what is your project all about.
Woo! So the project has always been centered about the testimony of God giving grace, giving purpose to your life, giving direction to your life, and being thankful, being purposeful in directing your heart towards Him. So basically in worship. So we praise, we worship, but it's with a sound that is not, I just don't want to say the word unique, but it is musical, it is inspiring, it is it's taken from some inspiration from some spaces. Me having the background, like you said, with gospel and the jazz, I love the Winans, I love Take Six, I love the Clark sisters. So these background harmony things have contributed to my sound. And the title of the project is True Love, because God is my true love. And I want to be able to share that when people are lonely or when they're frustrated, that they don't have to feel that they're alone or that they're without encouragement, because God loves them. And there's treasures and secret places as long as you stay focused on Him. There's No Greater Love. That's one of the tracks on the album, which was actually a testimony. I was saved at the age of 9 off of that song. So it's a beautiful tribute back to him to share that journey of not only my spirit, but the music, because I wasn't saved by the pastor telling you to come down the aisle. It was the message that the singers were saying, Jesus went to Calvary to save a wretch like you and me. That's love. And although I didn't really understand what a wretch meant, but it didn't sound like it was the best kind of person.
Right.
And at 9 years of age, all I could think about was being flawed, you're still loved. And so that constantly continues to be the journey and the evolution for me to remind myself that I'm flawed, but I'm still loved and I'm still favored. And I want people to just connect with that as well through the message of the songs.
One of the things that I love about the songs that I've heard from you is that they do represent that hope and that inspiration. I mean, even your sweatshirt, faith, hope, and love. I mean, really, you're just, I mean, you're consistent. If nothing else, you're consistent.
It's intentional, you know, we have to be intentional about this thing.
Yeah, but one thing I love about it is the message is very consistent. The hope, the inspiration, the encouragement, all of that is very consistent. The way you do your vocals is very, very consistent. Red, I'm going to ask you. You've worked with people, gospel, R&B, and all of everything else in there. Coming to, let's say, Jiana's project, this one, how are those influences kind of showing up in a fresh and a unique way? Because it's not specifically or traditionally jazz. It's not traditionally R&B. It's not traditionally gospel. It's something that you were talking about before, something original and different. Was that intentional, or is it just something that organically was just like, I think it should sound like this?
It literally organically just worked. Like, I mean, I don't think that any of this is really too hard to make. It's just we gotta find out. You know, we align ourselves with what God wants us to do, and then when you align that, you literally just walk in it, and you just like it kind of just flows. It's kind of easy. So I'm like, I can't really take full credit for that because it's like I just played what I thought I was supposed to play, and then she said, yeah. So you know. I feel the same way about the rest of the band too. Like, you know, because we literally did most of the recording of the music within 5-6 hours.
Wow.
She gave us all of the stuff and we plugged up. We ate some pizza. We talked about the songs. We rehearsed for a minute. We laughed again, and then we played them. And it was like, okay, good. Now we're done. It's like, you know, it organically worked.
Yeah.
Organically worked.
It literally
one day. We did, I think, 5 or 6 tracks in like 5 hours.
Yeah.
So we were together maybe close to 6, like you said, after the pizza break. But like work, that was it. And we felt good about it. And still to this day, it wasn't like people had to go back and redo anything. It was like, we're just going to continue to add because it's inspiring us to do more. But it was just a blessing. And I don't know where we're going to talk about this again, but when I always tell him how grateful I am to him, he told me he's happy to be a part of this miracle. And when he said miracle, I was like, this is a miracle. Not only do you know how long I've been trying to get this music out and praying and believing that it would, but just the roadblocks, the stops, and I've been in different cities and thought that maybe over time that maybe it wasn't my guys in Detroit that I work with. Maybe I tried in Memphis and it just didn't connect because that wasn't the purpose. But God always kept finding ways and time for me to just keep reconnecting. And so that was a continuous affirmation that this is what it's supposed to be. And whenever you're doing anything in purpose and asking him for direction, it's so super easy. So that made the process super easy. I couldn't have imagined that we would have recorded those songs in one day. But I trusted him because he said they could.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh? You sure?
It's funny to even think about those conversations. He's like, shouldn't we book a couple more days?
Yes.
I'm like, no.
But nah.
If anything, we need more pizza. But
on a side note, what is it about studio sessions and pizza?
I have no idea. I have leftover pizza from yesterday's session.
That's the meal. That's for everybody who's out there. If you want to make it in the industry, go to the studio and order pizza.
Yeah,
that's your nugget. That's your nugget.
Put it near the studio, okay?
Get some stocking pizza.
That is hilarious.
Hard to see this stocking pizza.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so you guys are working on this project. As far as the project and moving to completion, where are you now in the process?
Yeah, where are we?
You know, we are super duper close. That's all I can say. We're closer than we were yesterday.
Look, small steps is good.
2021 is still the anticipated date. Still the spring of 2021, first quarter. You know, I had to really kind of loosen the reins of expectations with that because number one, things happen in a culture that are beyond your control. And God just directs things in time. So you can have loosely laid plans, and he appreciates them, but they're going to come out or come to fruition when he says it. So there are a couple of pieces that, of course, physically have to be in place. I'm just going to go and say out there financially, sure. Anybody that would love to help support me with that, I'd appreciate it. My Cash App is JIJIZJAM, and I'm sure Phillip will add that at the bottom at some point. Gigi's Jam for Cash App, and all things are going towards the project promotion. And we know that being in a virtual world majority right now, we're going to probably be limited for physical space right now. But while we still have the outside world, it's going to be an amazing time to just share something that's new and fresh. So I look forward to that. Keeping it easy and breezy.
Wow. Well, that's good. You know, sometimes we do have those expectations, and it's good to have them. You know, you have to have your strategy and then set goals as to what you would like to kind of accomplish. But you're totally right. It's going to be in God's time. And there are things that come along the way where it's just like, well, and I found sometimes those slow down moments or those kind of rest stops give you the time to really perfect some other things. Mm-hmm. You know, they give you the time in the room so you don't feel like, okay, we hurry, now we're done. Oh, I wish we had more time. You know, because the only person that's on a time constraint is you. Mm-hmm. Because we set the time, we set the goals, we set the calendar, you know, so, you know, it's not really a setback. It's just more time to ensure that we have all of our I's dotted, all of our T's crossed. And when I get this project out there, it is exactly how I want to see it. It's exactly how I want to hear it. And I'm 100% satisfied because you both know there's nothing worse than releasing something and something on there is cringeworthy.
Oh, yes.
You know, it's just like, oh, I knew I should have wrote that lyric different. Oh.
That's so right.
You know, it's like I knew that harmony was off and I didn't change it.
Should have went back and fixed it. And
yeah, so now it's on iTunes. So I can't do nothing.
Yeah. In these times where I did have a deadline, but then we didn't quite meet it, I definitely had those opportunities. Mm-hmm. I had listened to it, lived with it a little more, and he's always so gracious to me. I'll come up from Cincinnati for one thing, and then he'll say, "You just want to record it?" I'm like, "Yes, please." Because I know that that's time, but it's still in my heart just to make it better. And he's just patient along the way with that. So it really does take time to make a good song, because the more you live with it, the more you just hear different things. So
you do. And I mean, and that's totally okay. And then there comes that time where you're just like, you know what? I can change this until the day is done. But I'm done with this. This song is a wrap. You know, like
So that's why we work well together.
Yeah, like because you can always change something. But then you know, it's like after you're trying to paint your house, then you just overpainted it, and you're looking like, what is all this paint?
Yeah. That's why we work well together. I listened. Yeah, we recorded it. We tried a couple times, and we were like, okay. And then she'll say, "Was this better than the other one?" I'm like, I don't know. I don't even remember the other one now, so yeah.
I totally identify. Like that's the same thing with rough vocals. But like, well, pull up the other track. It was like, well, we have 16 of them. Pull up track 12.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you this about him. That will never be the case, because not only is he, I don't want to say a clean freak, but he's a clean freak, and so that goes into his production process as well. So he's cleaning up. Yeah. And I'm like, can I hear that last one? He was like, it's gone.
It's gone.
I'm like, gone. No. But that one part was really good. He was like, just sing it again.
Yeah, just do it over.
I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I have to go back and you can't do it again, it's not authentically you. So like, let's just delete that anyway. Let's just do what you sound like.
Oh my goodness.
It's funny. It's funny. It's funny.
So Jiana, that's what's coming up. That's what's coming up for you. So I'm super excited about that. Red, you have some awesome things coming up too in the month of June. Some things with Juneteenth. You scored a movie. Tell us a little bit about all of this greatness, all up and through.
Yeah, okay. So when I hear other people say it, it sounds cooler. So I'm like, yeah, that does sound like, even my bio, that sounded real cool. But like, yeah, I did just score a movie. It's called Dear Future Husband. It'll be out on all of the streaming platforms and Amazon and stuff like that. And this was cool for me. The coolest part is that I actually got to go to the premiere this time.
Okay.
And I got to see people react to the things that I did. And I was like, that was so cool. It was like cooler than the concert. It was like, you know, you play something, like you anticipate that, okay, people will gasp at this thing, and like, and it happened. You're like, it's a whole theater full of people that feel like me right now. It's so cool. So like, that was a super cool feeling. So yeah, Dear Future Husband is the first, no, actually the second film that I've scored, but the first time I got to go to the premiere and see all of the things. Yep. So that'll be out in June. You mentioned the Juneteenth thing. So there's a whole project coming out based on Lift Every Voice and Sing. Out pushed by the Charles Wright Museum and the Circle of Museums all across the country and stuff like that. Yada yada yada, doodle doodle doodle. Like, it's pretty big, but it's like still cool for me. Like, I just get to write these cool things. So I was commissioned to write a piece based on Lift Every Voice and Sing, but like pointed to Detroit and to Detroit's tenacity. So that'll be out for Juneteenth. And yep, what else did you mention? I don't know. Look, I think
you work. If I'm not mistaken, you work really closely with some of the youth as well. Is there
Yep. So I have my own summer camp with the union. It's the company who puts everything together. But the camp is called Keys to Life, and it's for 11 to 14-year-olds. And we just teach all of the performing arts. We actually use the performing arts to teach life skills, which is like, again, pushing towards the purpose. Like, why do you want to do what you want to do, and why do you want to be a good person, and why do you know how to organize your homework and stuff like that. So like, we use performing arts to teach those skills. So we teach making, songwriting, acting, dancing, instrumental music, all really to make really good kids, because we just want good kids all over the world. You know, that's the real goal. And then we like, hey, you can sing too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Make good people, and then they can like use their gifts.
Yeah. So that camp will be all through July, but signups will be in June. You can go to theunion.org for that. And yeah, so that's what I do. You know. Oh yeah. Yeah, because this is June. So there's a program also that I help write with my best friend Chris Johnson. And we have a program called Motown Next that'll be happening down at the Motown Museum. And that's another initiative for young people to do some really cool things down at the Motown Museum. And yeah, we built a studio there. There'll be some cool things with some celebs and stuff like that. I can't let all of that out yet, but Motown Next is happening. So yeah.
And where can people find information about that?
Actually not sure.
Okay.
So, I don't know, but you can Google the Motown Museum or Hitsville.
Absolutely.
Yep, it's good.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I am so glad that you guys. What's are you guys in the studio today? I mean, I know you're physically there. Are you guys doing any work today? You making any magic today? You making some more hits today? What y'all doing?
You know, I was actually thinking about trying to remake.
He's looking over. Let me see what she's gonna say. Let me see.
We did some edits yesterday, so that's why I was literally waiting.
I was sending him a text about one little thing, but you know, he'll get to what we can. Yeah.
Yep, we did.
We were in session yesterday, so
yeah.
I enjoyed it. I've been listening to it in my car, and I let my aunt have a sneak peek on one of the songs, and she loved it. She said, "It sounds so marketable. I love it."
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Cool.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you, Jiana, number one, for coming back again, and number two, for sharing more of your project with us. I can't wait to hear the rest of it, and introducing us to Red. Red, it is so wonderful to meet you. I'm so excited to hear everything you're doing. Good night. I just feel lazy.
That's hilarious, man. Thanks for having me here, though. This is really cool. I'm really digging this. So, like, I'm
Oh,
gonna
thank you.
and seeing all the other episodes and stuff too, man. You're super cool. Thanks for this.
Yeah.
Oh, and, well, thank you guys for coming on. Oh, and listen, we had such a good time today. If you haven't gotten anything else out of the show today, passion exudes confidence and it exudes joy. Today, we were bombarded with joy, bombarded with inspiration, bombarded to be more encouraged and more challenged to follow our passions to where the joy is in life. And thank you to Jiana and to Red for sharing their passion and their purpose with us. I hope that you've been inspired. And remember that you are the best you in the world. We will see you next time on The PHILLIP Show. Bye.
Don't wait.